Okay, so let's continue filtering out the rest of the numbers. Okay, so all right, so the next one is, all right, so if user number of packages is less than 10, if it's not less than 10, that means it's 10 and above. For all the numbers 10 and above, we also want the numbers less than 20. Okay, so if it's not less than 20, then that means it's 20 and above. For all the numbers 20 and above, we want the ones less than 50 here, so 20 to 49. If it's not less than 50, then that means that it's 50 and above. And for all the numbers 50 and above, we want the ones less than 100. 50 and above, we want the ones, so 50 to 99, because we want 50 and above. If it's not less than 50 over here, it's not. If it's not less than 50, then that means it's 50 and above. We want any number 50 and above, but also less than 100. So that means 50 to 99. In that case, then the subtotal is going to be equal to the package price, which is $99, times how many packages the user is buying. So user number of packages. The person's discount in this case, is going to be equal to 40%. 50 to 99 is 40%. So 40 divided by 100. We want this calculation to take effect first. That's why I'm surrounding it with parentheses, order of operation. 40% of subtotal. And now the person's total is going to be equal to subtotal minus discount. I'm storing all these values in variables because later on we're going to display it. So it makes it very simple. It makes life very easy. Okay, so the last, before I do that, let me just convert one of these values into a double, just so this 40 becomes a double and this becomes an integer. And because one of these is a double, this result is going to be a double. If both of these are integers, then this result here is going to be an integer, which is not what we want. It's not what we want at all. Okay. So the last one, else. As a matter of fact, let me see. Okay. So if the user number of packages is not less than 100, then that means it's 100 or more. And over here it says 100 or more. So in that case, anything above 100, you get 50% off. So we can just put an else. We can just put an else, and the program will actually apply. We'll know that anything that is not less than 100 here is either 100 or above, and we'll know that. Okay. Other than that, we can also go ahead and do it and be very explicit about it and write it that way. But I'm going to just so that it's clear. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to leave it just so when you get here and you know that it's not less than 100, you know that if it's not less than 100, then it's 100 or more. Okay, so I'm going to leave it. So else. Okay, else. Sometimes I talk too much, so don't mind me. Okay, just don't mind me. Just try to follow along and ignore me. Okay, so else. The person's subtotal is going to be the same thing, package price times user number of packages. And the person's discount for anything 100 or above is 50%. So in that case, it's going to be 50%. And I want this calculation to take effect first. So I'm going to surround it with parentheses, 50% off subtotal. That's going to be the person's, am I doing it right? Yeah, that's going to be the person's discount. And the person's total is going to be equal to subtotal minus discount. Okay, so now we've covered all cases. If the user enters any number for user number of packages here, we should be able to calculate the right number of discount and the total for the user. So now all that's left is to display the output. But before that, I'm going to convert one of these into a double so we don't get an integer as a result. I explained it, so you can skip the video. I mean, not skip, but just rewind the video a little bit, and you'll get the explanation. Okay, so let's go ahead and display the output, or get the output. All right, so because I use a GOption pane, I need to use a GOption pane show message dialog. And also because we have dollar values and we're going to get zeros and lots of numbers, I want to format it in a nice way, because chapter 3 talks about that. Chapter 3 in the book talks about now formatting numbers. So we want to put a dollar sign in front of it. We want to put commas where necessary, and we can use format specifiers and flags to do that. But before I do that, before I display it using the GOption pane show message dialog, I want to format it. So, and I use the string.format method to do that. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So string.format, like this. Okay, it's going to look like this. It just works like a print statement. Okay, so string.format now is going to be, first I want to display a couple of things. Now this whole string we're going to create here can get confusing if you don't understand format specifiers and flags and all that, but you'll get it. Okay, I'll go through it and you'll get it. Okay, all right, so I want to display the program didn't say we should display that, but the program says display the amount of discount, if any, and the total amount of purchase. Only 2 things, but I'm going to add a few more things just so it looks organized and nice. All right, so I'm going to first display the packages purchased. So I'm just going to say packages purchased. In the packages purchased with a colon, and I'm going to use a placeholder, a placeholder, which is going to be %d for an integer, and I'm going to put a comma here. And the arguments that's going to replace this %d, this placeholder, is going to be the user number of packages. Okay. After I display the user number of packages, I want to create a new line character, and I use that with \n. I don't put any space in between. If you want, you can do it, but it's going to have a space. If you do this, it's going to have a space after this whole line before it puts a line break. If you want that, you can do it, but I'm going to put this together just so we move straight to the next line. The next thing I want to display is going to be the person's subtotal, or let's say, yeah, the person's subtotal. So in that case, I'm just going to say subtotal with a colon. Now this is where it gets complex, because we are combining a whole lot of flags and symbols and format specifiers and precision and all that. So subtotal is going to be space a placeholder for a float placeholders, which is going to be a %f, but we want a $ in front of it, so I'm going to precede it with a $. we want to round it to 2 decimal places. So in between this format specifier, in between it, I'm going to put a 0.2, which means 0.2 decimal places. And we want commas to separate it, just like a US dollar, the dollar value, the dollar amount. If there are 3 zeros or 3 digits, put a comma, something like that. So to do that, I'm going to put a comma right before the precision, right before the 0.2, after the percentage sign. And then now we have the subtotal formatted. And because we want the next thing on the next line, I'm going to break this into the next line, and I do that with a backslash n. So that's going to go to the next line. Again, I don't put a space because I don't want a space after the subtotal. I just want it to move straight to the next line, so I break it with a backslash n, the new line character. The next thing I want to, or before that, because I put a placeholder of this percentage f here, this whole format specifier precision, percentage f, what's going to replace that percentage f is going to be that argument. I'm going to line it up here in order. So this one replaces this percentage d, and the next one I'm going to type is going to replace this percentage f. Again, you have to learn format specifiers to understand this well, but I hope this also gives you an idea. So the next thing that's going to replace this percentage f is going to be subtotal. Okay, all right. So let's continue. Because we've broken this to the next line, the next thing we want to display is going to be the person's discount. So discount, colon, space. Discount is also going to be a dollar value. So, and it's going to be a float, a double. So percentage f for a floating point value. So percentage f, we want a dollar sign to precede it. Oops, I did it right. Percentage f, we want a dollar sign to precede it. We want it to be rounded to 2 decimal places. So in between this, in between that 0.2, and we want commas to be in between them. So we've also done that, and we want it to break it to the new line, the next line. We do that with backslash n. And what is going to replace this placeholder is going to be the discount. Okay, so I'm going to break this on a new line. Okay, so don't get confused. I'm just continuing on a new line. I just hit enter to break it. So I don't want it to take effect in the program itself. That's why I didn't use backslash n. Because it's being long, I have to scroll all the way. Let me just undo it. If I keep typing like this, it's going to go off the screen. So I'm breaking it off. And this is not going to have any effect in the program when I display it. It's just for my view here. Okay. So now the last thing we need is the total. And because I've broken it to a new line, it's going to display on a new line. So total now is going to be also a dollar value. It's going to be a floating point number. So it's going to be a percentage f. We want a dollar sign to precede it. To 2 decimal places, 0.2. And we want commas in between. And what is going to replace this placeholder is going to be a total. So now we have a nicely formatted string, but we need a place. This is just a method. We need a place to store this result so that we can display it using the GOption pane's show message dialog. So let's go up here and add one more variable to hold the output, and that's going to be a string. So I'm going to name that string. Let's just put it right under this, just so it's a bit organized. So string user output. So now user output is going to hold the result of this nicely formatted output. So again, the string is going off the screen, so I'll probably break it somewhere here. And I'll join this to that, so it looks nice. So now all we have to do is just display it using the JOption pane show message dialog. So it's going to be JOption pane dot show message dialog. And the first argument is I'm going to put a null. These have different values. They have different values. And what null is going to do is it's going to center the dialog box in the screen. So I'm going to put null for that, and I'm going to put the next argument, which is going to be what you want to output in the dialog box, and that's going to be user output because it has this nicely formatted output. So I'm going to put user output here. Okay, so now we're done. Now we're done. Now anytime you use the JOption pane, you have to call this method to end the extra thread that is caused by the JOption pane. System.exit is going to terminate that thread, and I'm passing it 0, and it normally just signals that the program was able to reach this point. I received. You can actually test this. You can test this, receive it on the receive it, because this method returns a value. So you can pass in 0, and anytime you test it and receive a 0, it normally signifies or indicates that the program ran successfully. The program was able to run and get to this point and return a 0, which is, if you receive it on the other end, if you have a variable and you receive this value returned, if you get to 0, which I am passing here, then that means this program got to this point and was able to return a 0. Okay, so if you receive a 0, then that means that the program runs successfully. It's an indication. And also, this terminates that extra thread that is caused from using the JOption pane. I'm using the JOption pane here. I'm using the JOption pane, so that's good. All right, so far, so good. The program looks fine, but we need to run it to see. So let me go ahead and compile this. And I'm going to create a new folder for this one. It's going to be software sales, right? Okay. All right, and I'm going to save it here, software sales. Okay. All right, we have a couple of errors. Let's see. Cannot find symbol variable JOption. Okay. It's supposed to be JOption pane and not JOption. Okay, compile it, and it compiled without errors. Okay, so I'm going to run it, and let's see what we get. Before that, let me cancel this. Before that, ignore this because we didn't create anything to happen. We didn't create any code when we click on the cancel button. That's why we have this. So ignore that. All right, so let's create some numbers. Let's just create some numbers. I'm going to put a comment here. And this is just a test. Okay, this is just a test. I'm going to pull up the calculator, and the package was selling for $99 each, right? So if the person enters 13, right? 13 packages is between 10 and 19, so that person gets a 20% discount, right? So, but first, let's get the person's subtotal without any discount. So 13 times $99 is going to give you 1287, right? So let's put that here. So 13 times $99 is going to give us 1287, right? Discount, the person's discount is going to be 20%, right? Let's see. 13 falls between here. So 20% of 1287, 20 divided by 100, 20% off 1287 gives us $257.40. So discounts, we should expect 57.40. $257.40. That's what we should be expecting for discount. And the person's total is going to be 1287, right, minus 257.40, which is going to be 1029.60 cents. Okay, so total is going to be 1029.60 cents. Let me just make sure. 1029, that's 0.60. Okay, so let's just try the number 13. Okay, 13 is the number of packages bought. Let's try it. If we get these numbers, then the program is working fine. All right, so it compiles without errors. This is a comment, so nothing is going to happen. These are all comments. Run, and please enter how many packages you're buying. First, let's try with 4. Now for 4 over here, you don't qualify for any discount, so it should be just 4 times 99, right? So packages purchased is 4. Subtotal is 396, right? Just to be clear, 4 times 99 is 396. That's your subtotal. 4 times 99. But because it's less than, it doesn't qualify for discount. It doesn't fall between any of these. Anything less than 10, you get the zero discount, $0. So your total still stays the same. Okay. All right. So let's try now with 13 and see if we get these values. Compile it, run it again, and we're going to enter 13 this time. Okay. So the packages purchased. I spelled this wrong. So packages purchased is 13. The subtotal is 1287, like we got here. Discount is 20% of that, which is 257.40 cents, and the total is going to be 1029.60 cents. So this works. This works fine. And the format specified did the job also. We have a dollar signs. We have our commas in between, nicely, like real dollar values. And this is an integer, %d, so we don't need to format that. I mean, although you can in different ways. So this looks good. The program works. And let's try another number, just for fun. So 100, 9,900. Discount is 4,000. Total is this, because you get a 50% off. Okay, so the program works fine. I'm sorry it was long, but if it's clear, then I'm happy. If it's not clear and you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll do everything. I'll do my best to respond. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time with the next program. All right, bye-bye.